Welcome back, everybody. The North Georgia Fair in Marietta is now open, and all the fun kicked off yesterday and runs through the 28th. It has rides, food, and family-friendly activities. Just be aware there is a clear bag policy if you are planning to go. I loved the joke you made earlier, Orlin, when we were talking about this. I said it's not really fair weather. You said, well, it's fair or fair weather.
Fair weather or fair weather.
Depending on your
Yeah, depending on your perspective. Meteorologically, fair weather, of course, clear skies, you know, generally looking at little puffy clouds, and of course, fair weather is any weather where you can get a good space on the ride.
Hello?
Right?
Yes, all of that. Well, I'll let you get into it.
Let's take a look at what's going on, folks. We're going to start off across the Atlanta area. I want to show you what our current conditions are like. Generally, we're seeing partly cloudy skies, a little bit more thunderstorm activity showing off in some of these eastern areas, as we'll talk about in a moment. Temperatures generally in the 90s or around the 90-degree mark. Peachtree City coming in 90, Atlanta coming in currently at 91. And that's pretty close to the high temperatures that we've seen across most areas. Now, Atlanta's going to tick off one more, because before we took the temperature there, it was at 90, but you saw 91, so that's going to be the high temperature for today. Looking at most areas outside of town in the 80s, but as we look at the eastern regions, you're probably going to see these temperatures change. Why? Because we're getting thunderstorms, little pop-up thunderstorms, and as I told you at the beginning of the hour, or maybe I didn't, I can't remember, but it's kind of like looking at popcorn in a pot and figuring out where is the kernel that's gonna pop. And what we're seeing right now is that most of that action is off to the east. This is gonna be pretty much your weekend right here. I want to take you into the continental United States now and show you where the weather's gonna be coming from. Currently, we've got a big storm system across the plains. It's been sitting there for the past couple of days. If you were about 22,000 feet up, this is what it would look like if you look back down at Earth. Look at that big old low pressure. Looks like a hurricane, doesn't it? Well, it's been sitting there causing disturbed weather across the plains over the past several days. Along the Gulf Coast, we're getting a thunderstorm activity in the afternoon. It's being enhanced by that area of low pressure off to the west. And eventually now, not this particular time, but as we go through the week, low pressure is going to be pushing its way on towards the east. So that's more instability for us, giving us a chance of rain. Talking Tuesday, but especially Wednesday, Thursday. There's a fly in the ointment, though. As you work your way out to the east coast, we're going to start to see high pressure push low-level winds in from the Atlantic. That's going to give us a stable air layer at the surface. So even though we have elevated instability, which gives us a chance for thunderstorms, we have stable air at the surface. So that really complicates your extended forecast, especially, like I said, as we get past Tuesday going into Wednesday, Thursday time frame. Tricky little forecast there. Had to use the old noodle on that one. So let's take a look. Let's see what it looks like, folks. We are going to see generally nice weather through your weekend on into Monday. Skies are going to be mostly sunny. Temperatures will be close to 90 degrees to start us off, and then we're going to see a gradual cooling, but then there's that chance of rain. Cloudier skies coming in later in the week. Pops going up, what we call possibility of precipitation going up. You'll see the temperatures kind of hovering around the mid to upper 80s. Of course, if you get rain, that's probably going to cut the top off your temperatures. So as we get closer to this forecast period, obviously we'll get to refine that forecast. It'll become more obvious to us, but I want you to make sure you've got some rain gear in the car. Wednesday, Thursday time frame, certainly. As we get towards the weekend, start to see the sun peek out a little bit more. Still not bad temperatures. A little bit warm for this time of year, I know, but it's going to cool off, I promise, especially as we get into the last part of the month.